Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, to to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. My brother Yassad, back at work on the way of me, will let edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. So this one here is basically going into um you know um King Charles give assurance of the bringing in of the digital ID, right? Because we know, hey, this is why we preach heavily on the MOTB, because this is one major prophecy, and you literally, we as being the prophets of the Lord, we able to expose the plans of this devil. We able to expose, this man's agenda. So all you're seeing here are basically stepping stones for the real thing, which is the MOTB. So this digital ID system is just the start. All I just say is just basically the startup, because from being on the phone and whatnot, is gonna jot down to that small device as a grain of rice, right, which gonna be inserted inside of you, right? That's where it's jotted down to. So it marks here, King Charles confirms the government will proceed with the introduction of digital ID. Even in Trinidad down here, they mention that we would be given a unique identity, and it's to show you that there is a vibration pushing to the four corners of the earth. That's why it talks about in Revelation 3 and 10, if thou keep my patience, I will keep thee, from the hour of temptation, which is come to try what the whole world. That has come for the, to try the whole world, because it's not that the MOTB system is just gonna be ran in America alone, no, but to the four corners of the earth, because like the era they're actually coming back with, and all nations is gonna have to be on board, right? That's why they're doing away with cash, they're doing away with any paper. The paper system is gonna be destroyed, right? They're going fully digital on everything soon. Your identification, even your money, soon it's gonna be digitalized. And this is where we as the prophets have been warning you, because this is the gradualism, till they reach the extent I hear what this year we're gonna take from the cash and these credit cards and whatnot. We're gonna take it to the next level and introduce that microchip, right? I have an article here concerning that it's a digital ID and civil service reform among UK government's legislative priorities as pressure mounts on PM, because we know the pressure, it coming from the heads, because they want to forward this thing quickly. That pressure coming from the heads, the rulers, the banking families, that is where the pressure coming from, because they want to be in that spirit to get it done quickly, right? Because they know they run out of time. That is why they want to bring forward that system. Is like they making and creating their own renaissance. That is basically it. They creating their own renaissance, the own rebirth, and they're gonna be under that digitalized system where they would have that total control over your money and whatnot, because as Ezekiel, no, Ecclesiastes speak of that. I'm gonna get it. Ecclesiastes 7 and 11. Oh, let me see. 7 and 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So, with money being highly set as a defense on this side, they set up the fiat, this fiat currency, which really don't have no you know solid value or something back in it, like gold or anything, which is just fiat, which is nothing. They set this up as the defense. That is why it's easy to change from here. What, no more fiat currency. Let's start to deal with the digital system, and let's deal with everything digitalized now. So look, right? Yeah, so just as it is easy for them to bring forth that transition in and get rid of the cash completely, because they know, just like the credit card system, your bank card, and these things, everything is tracked, everything is recorded, because alright, you have a debit card, like I have a debit card. Every move I make, every swipe I make, it shows me on my phone. Well, alright, I shopped I spent $5 at K&S supermarket. I withdraw money at Luxembourg, ATM, and that is just basically a recorded system of your money. So when everything goes digital, it's gonna be so. Everything gonna be, if you spend 50 cents, that is gonna be recorded. So that is where they're able to have the control, right? That is what the aim is. You're taking away defense and putting it into the palm of their hands, right? It's a parliamentary bills to introduce a voluntary digital ID for public services and boost cyber security among the UK government's latest legislative priorities. What's going to do with cyber security? Cyber security measures taken to protect a computer or computer system as on the internet against unauthorized access or attack. So that is what they're basically aiming at. But we know they're gonna be the ones that able to access your money, your data, everything. But they wanna bring it across in a way is for your security, but is actually for their being able to have a control over you, because it's like you put in your little defense in the palm of their hands. That is basically what the true intention is. 37 bills, I'll read down. I'll just skip through, to go to the more, essence, get to the essence side, It said the British people expect the government to get on with the job of changing our country for the better. Stamina said in a number 10 announcement on the King's speech. Right. The Labour government legislative program with Downing Street said strength it would, yeah, the program would down and she said strengthen public services, reform the state and reverse decline, constituted an ambitious program to break with the status quo and contain new laws that reflect big challenges the country faces and bolsters the UK's economic, energy and national security. Digital ID legislation, the Digital Access to Services Bill, brings forward power to deliver a new voluntary digital ID scheme to access public services. So you see how it's actually getting closer into the control and the centralizing everything. So in order for it to access here for these public services, you would need this. This is where going into the revelation, and he caused it all to make the force to put into legislation, you know. It comes just 8 days after the end of a consultation in which the government invited the public to have their say on plans for the introduction of a government digital ID. And we know, the people really and truly, they wouldn't want that, because if they really understand the in-depth of it, it's not profitable as much for them, you know. But given the government basically signing over your rights to them, and as the government progresses the development of its Gov UK smartphone app, which will eventually have payments functionality to provide citizens with digital access to government services and benefits. In the announcement of the launch of the 8-week consultation, the government said that a digital identity system would end citizens' reliance on multiple logins and paper documents to access the support they need and save them time and effort. Because again, it's all to make you think that it's all to make life easier. You know, we evolving, you know, technological advancements, but they have an agenda at the end of it. Because this is something that they use as gradualism. Right? The government is renewing Britain with accessible public services that work for citizens and come together on Gov UK app. The app will become the front door to accessing public services as with online banking or shopping apps. With a digital ID system at its foundation, number 10 briefing note on King's speech explained, digital ID will be free to access for anyone who wishes to use it, providing people with a trusted, useful and secure proof of identity for use across public services and wider economy, without needing to carry around physical document that can be lost. But this is it. They're coming in with the smooth words, you know, but they have an agenda behind it. Forged or stolen. The note continues, whether picking up a parcel or accessing public services like free childcare or providing your right to work, it will give people greater control over their data, with a safer and simple way to decide who gets to see their details when using their digital ID. The bill will establish the legal framework for government to create, issue and use digital ID, set out the information the digital ID credential will contain and provide for how it can be issued, maintained, stored and verified, as well as eligibility requirements, and include provisions to create and maintain the digital ID credential, enable its use and aid public sector join up alongside appropriate safeguards, because this is what's happening, you know. The pressure coming from above is they wanna, you know, come forth with a plan. Right? A precept here to back that up, the book of Job 5 and 13. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Right, so, well, reading at verse 12, it says, He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform the enterprise. Because, because ultimately Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is gonna step in as he's about to fill his belly. Then the Lord going and rain it on him, But hey, that is it, this is basically attempts to forward his system that he wanna comes with. Well, here's the implementation and the steps, to lead straight into the MOTB. And the moment you all, gradually get accustomed to the digital ID system, soon they're just gonna change it and say, well, you need to take this. They set out a mandatory date that everyone must by this appointed time have this to be a part of the system and whatnot. But yeah, and because I was going to the word headlong, because in the interlinear with mahar, to hasten, that is it. The plans, the hastening the plan. To make haste, the strong say, swift, quickly, hastily, hasty, soon, speed, headlong, rash, ready, shortly, straightway, suddenly. And that is where it's going into. Alright? To hurry in a good or a bad sense, because it's not gonna be good for the people, because it's gonna end up leading straight to the MOTB. Often used with another verb. Let's say cause to make haste, hastily, make ready, quickly, shortly, rash, soon, make speed, speedily, straightway, suddenly, swift. Because that is why they're coming down. Because earlier on, well, I didn't read the part that they sent out for some leaders and whatnot to resign. Because we know they want to put in place their people that would forward their agenda quickly. Right, that is what it is about, Even pursuing the Revelation 12 and 12, as it says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is coming down having great wrath, because he knew that he had but a short time. So that is why he want to come swiftly, speedily, hasten his system, because that is the breakthrough that he want to be able to have. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity, because this here is they devising a plan, right, unto the people, and work evil upon their beds. The round tables, the summit, to set these things into law. When the morning is light, when the time is ready, practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Right? Just as the Isaiah 10:1 say, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, because these things is going to be set in law. And that right grievousness which they are prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, because that is what it is about. They want full rights over you, full control over your money, everything. That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And that is what it's about. They want to extensify the grip, the hold that they have on the ruling kingdom, and they want to tighten the grip. But the Lord is not going to allow that to happen. That's why I say he disappointed the devices, the plans, right? So hey, just sending out warning onto the sheep, just a quick one. Hopefully that it will be fine. I'd like to close off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, double answer the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Until the next Shalom.